Proxy, Table Gaming, PTG, Hyper G and Lucky Sixes are here once again for another battle report.
To the robot.
Oh,
that's
no.
my best robot. While sitting down recording, I've never tried it. So
no, well, it's also your worst robot while sitting down recording,
right?
But that's a shame, but
right?
It's factually true.
But the reason I'm doing that is because we got an online battle, baby.
Yeah.
Warhall.
We're still around in Warhall.
Yeah,
still
very much
loving
so.
The changes being made to it.
Yeah, so the reason we decided to do this was because we hadn't sort of done a BatRep in it for a while, because obviously we're back at real life, baby. But Warhall is still certainly going on, and there's been a few changes, as you said, and a few introductions, including the new armies, which we're showcasing here, more rendered and all that jazz. We for this we did encircle and capture the flags for anybody interested, but also a new background,
terrain, landscape,
terrain, picture potential.
Absolutely, and I mean, brace your eyes for this, because it may or may not be the nicest to watch a battle report on. Playing it's incredible.
Yeah.
It
shouldn't be too bad.
It's like in the cinema when it's all dark and then all of a sudden.
Yeah. And speaking of dark, before we do get onto the terrain, let's go over lists, shall we? So
of course.
We had a Saturday night free, a rare Saturday night free, and decided that we'd stay at home and instead of meeting up. So
I know, neither of us can be bothered to leave our houses. So.
And because of that, we chose these armies as well, because we wanted to showcase some ones we hadn't done on Warhall.
Well, the last time we saw vampires in Warhall, they were like bars of soap, weren't they, as well?
They were, yes.
It's nice to see what they've become.
No, very much so. But starting off, we had Dread Elves, and you hadn't played them for a while, so...
I hadn't, no, not since playing them on UB a little while ago. I had a decent end record with them and just fancied giving them another go, really. My list slightly had to change because the tournament I played in was a 5,000-point tournament. So obviously I had to cut a few things here and there, which was very sad. I think and also, the book had changed since that tournament because... they tweaked a few things, and a few names had changed. Like Temple Exarch is there now, which is a different name for something.
And options for them.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I used to have 2 of them. Now I've got 3, and that's because you can't take some of the options together. You're either a battle oracle, a warsmith, or a battle standard bearer. But I liked all 3 of them, so I wanted 3 characters, each with one of them. Basically, I said, no, I'm not choosing between those options. I'm having all 3. And damn it, that's what I'm doing. So I'm sticking with my Warlock Outcast Cosmo lady, which is awesome. 3 units of Temple Militants in core with Renly banners, slice and dice. Trying out the 6 Dread Knights. And basically, what's been cut is the Judicators, which is quite scary because Judicators scare people, and I haven't got them. But you have to lose 500 points somewhere.
Absolutely. So and a few Black Cloaks as well, but you try to keep
I did have
3
units of 6 Black Cloaks. Now I've got 2 units of 5 because they're amazing. But Kuloth and Krasnar stay in, the 2 Krakens, of course, and the Divine Altar, Crucible of Slaughter stays in. So it's very similar, but just tweaked for a few points less to play with, really.
And carrying on the tweaking facade, I guess. We mixed the last vampire list you've seen on the channel with my oldest vampire thing for me to try out. Basically, because we kind of both agreed the Court of the Damned is pretty good. It's pretty Court of the Damned good.
Nice.
Right, do you like that?
You've been working on that all day.
Yeah. It's been coming. But yes. So we wanted that in there. I had to lose one of my killy vampire. I need a killy vampire. So not only could I not fit a count, but I had to get rid of him as being ultra killy. So he's a defensive Court of the Damned courtier. Still on Brotherhood. So he's still no joke.
I played the courtier on the Court of the Damned in the unit of ghouls in the tournament. Well, you played one of those battles. and loved it. It was fine, absolutely fine.
Yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely. So, still, the vampire count who is there, that's Killy, is the same sort of thing. So he's strength 8, uh, hitting on offensive 10. So he's normally hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, and then re-rolling 1s so just a joke.
It just doesn't miss.
Yeah, and Talisman shielding for 5 up or whatever. So he's still going around. And
but
then,
is it Killy or is it Killius that's been dropped?
I don't. We could give him a completely new name. We'll have a see.
Oh,
Yeah.
Killier.
So this is a good. Yeah. Killerson or something.
Killerson, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, names are for both, I guess, for all characters. Dread Elves and vampires.
Dread Elves have already got names.
Okay.
They haven't really published them,
Sure.
so
well, just vampires then. Just vampires.
Don't even suggest names.
No, in fact, just suggest Dread Elf names, please.
Yeah, that's just encourage Tommy to make more comments.
But yeah, so give some names going. Otherwise, I think the Necromancer's gained Talisman of the Void because I did feel a little. Even with Evo, I needed a bit of thing. Otherwise, the rest of the list kind of stays the same. I don't. I put extended chassis just because that's what I have as a model.
Even in Warhall, you only have that option.
Yeah, right. And I think I lost a Vampire Knight which is fairly big. But otherwise, it's similar to what you've seen before. Got old Varkalak as well, Donny Dark Coach, all the jazz. So here we go. Old Donny, yeah. And here is the the sand. We're in the desert.
It's amazing, isn't it?
There are some more artistic pictures to come, but as opposed to the field, we're in the sand today. So I'm at the bottom, going from left to right. Got Varkalak, Vampire Knights, all the bat chaff, with the zombies at the back with the Necromancer, Killerson in the middle, Danny Dark Coach, Ghouls and Court, followed by the dogs on the right. And I think we did a bit of back and forth, and I believe you dropped for first against me.
I think I might have done. Yeah. Yeah. Probably. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
I think I did, but I'm not sure actually. Did I drop for second? Because I saw you deploy your Necromancer quite a way back with evocation, so I might have given you first turn actually. But we'll find out about.
But find out. But what have you got? Yeah. What have you got?
Strangely, considering the list, I seem. Oh no, that's 2 units of black cloaks on the left hand side. It's not 1 unit. I could see 1 unit of 6, and I was like, did I cheat already? But no, that's both units on the left hand side. Then the Dread Knights, and then I've got 2 Krakens. You got the Crucible of Slaughter in a unit of Temple Militants. That would have the Cosmo Wizard in. And one of the Exarchs. Can't really remember which is which at this stage. And then another Temple Militants, the Harpies, and a Temple Militants out on the flank. Looking to run on in there, really.
Yeah, very much so. And
it's capture the flags, isn't it?
Capture the flags and encircle.
And I am going first, so there you go. Shut up, me.
Yeah, and this is you going first. So there we go.
Just as you said. Yeah, I have literally just moved everything up on the one side. I think I was actually pleased that the evocation Necro was a little further back though, and also potentially you'd have to move him a lot closer, which meant you'd have to move the things in front of him closer to me. So that was still a theory.
Very much so. Yeah. And spoiler alert, you had thought about that, which makes one of us.
yeah. Although what I hadn't really thought about was that I couldn't move my black cloaks that much closer because the Varkalak scared them a lot.
Yes.
You'd put him out of range of their first turn shooting, because obviously poison shots would be quite useful against him. But you put him out of range, so I just held back with them on that flank. Yeah,
and not a lot else happened. Your turn 1, which straight away took us to turn 1 of the vampires, and we got a bit closer. Get a bit closer, baby. And moved up ever so tentatively. With basically the zombies.
You get your evocation guy up.
Yeah, and so this was a case of moving everything and measure, and sort of, as I had the second turn, sort of counter measuring basically. So not a lot in that thing, just facing things ever so slightly left and right and all that jazz. I got to this point and I was like, I don't know what the dogs are going to do really. So we'll see about that as well. The dogs were like, well, I hope they have something to do in this battle. I do get the hereditary off to get some more zombies, which is always good. Might be good.
You do?
Otherwise, I get a couple of wounds off on a kraken. I don't know whether this is a mixture of a few wounds or whatever, but that's what happens there.
This is into my turn now as well.
Oh, this is into your turn as well. Look at this, we're speeding through it. But I do get a couple of moves off. They're
my bell tokens, mate.
Oh, is it?
It's not a couple of wins. Yeah.
No, there we go.
I don't think you did get any wins off. Not that I can remember anyway. But,
Yeah.
No, I mean I've moved slightly. You move your Varkalak into the middle, but the chances of my Black Cloaks doing anything useful against your Vampire Knights is slim, and there's not much point in sending them forward to shoot at bats when they're just going to get countercharged by Vampire Knights. So, again, my Black Cloaks are not making much use of their turn two. Your Killy Vampire on the steed is still a big threat to the Krakens, etc. And so I didn't actually go too aggressive in the middle because I could go aggressive with my militants on the flank.
Yeah.
Like you said, the dogs pose me no threat whatsoever. Whether you charge me or if I charge you, it's even worse for them. And so, I really just kind of put a pause on the middle while I moved up on the flank. And I have still got ranged magic to try and hurt you with.
Yep.
Which I think is coming up.
So we do one wound with, I think that's Quick Lash on Donny Dark Coach.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
And 3 cosmology is
Ice and Fire.
Ice and Fire. But and you do one wound to him on the left, so one each. Which I was very lucky, really, because you Ice and Fire with obviously re-rolling special saves on the Varkalak, and to only take one was mad, bro.
I don't think I got many hits. Did I?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
But still, so
nice new feature on Warhall is that you can use these little wounding things to help you show wounds rather than using little tokens now.
Yeah, absolutely, and some nice close-ups of some of the models as well, from behind at least.
Yeah.
These are cool. You'll see them later on, but the ones on the right for the court as well.
Yeah.
Overview of my turn too, and again, I guess in the middle was just sort of like trading inches.
Really.
But very much on the left, I push the go button and say, all right, let's do this. Try and chaff your knights from from getting anything good on your turn, and just want to see what you do there, basically. And otherwise, just creeping forward, giving you or making the distances ever so much less from the Krakens and the militants. But realistically, as you said, I don't want to go into the militants, not just with the dogs, but with anything, really. I'm not. I can't say I'm a big fan of going into the militants with anything, really, but we'll see. Just pushing up on the left, really.
Yeah.
As you've already said, the Black Cloaks against the Knights is not a great matchup. So I'm not. I think I measured that you couldn't march out of my line of sight. But even if you could, I wasn't too bothered, really. Some nice close-ups. Ooh, models.
It's the Krakens.
But I do manage to get 2 wounds off this time with both of the snipes. I think you tried to stop the
Touch of the Reaper.
Touch of the Reaper D3 one, and don't through bad luck. But I managed to only do 1 with it.
I think it was like one of those let through hasten the hour because you have to stop Touch of the Reaper.
Yeah.
Then fail to dispel Touch of the Reaper, and then you hold the press.
And then face palm.
And then Tom rolled 1 wound on the Touch of the Reaper, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take it.
That's all right then. Yeah.
So it's swings and roundabouts.
Always. But some nice models there. And we get on to our first charge of the battle.
Hey,
I need a tune for that.
Trumpeter. Yeah. I'm not sure Dread Elves would use trumpets.
No, they'd use a high elf body flayed drum.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, patent that. Yeah,
Um,
so Dread Knight's going into the bats. I fell for your temptation, really. Yeah, I know I'm going to kill the bats. It's what I'm going to do afterwards is yet to be decided. But yeah, I figured that your knights are now in a position to charge past your bats. I mean, you probably would have charged your bats as well, not worrying that they're going to die, even providing with a tiny bit of combat res, you wouldn't care to get your knights in.
yeah.
So I figured I couldn't get my knights out of there. I did think about moving them to the side so that you could get less vampire knights in. But then, like I say, you just charge the bats. It wasn't great. I went for the charge.
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely. And you get in, Ovs, and move like so.
Yeah, I mean, your dogs had moved backwards a bit, so the whole flanking thing wasn't quite as much of an option with the militants. But it was with the harpies. The harpies, I figured, as well, they can take out the dogs just as easily as anything else. So yeah, I did a bit of shifting around, and I'm kind of like, you move forward, I move round. When is this all going to kick off?
We're doing the shuffle.
Yeah, but the Krakens are still kind of like waiting to see who makes the first move in the middle, really.
Yeah, very much so. You get Word of Iron off on your main things. Probably not your... I think I'd stop everything else, which is what this is. And you get Word of Iron just in case I come in.
It's just to buff the strength on the militants, really. It's not actually Word of Iron that I care about.
Yeah, just saying, whoa, lassie, you don't come anywhere closer. You thought it was iffy before.
Yeah, exactly.
This is before. Anybody?
I hope
any
it's
guesses?
not after.
Any guesses? Oh, that's what happens.
Close. It was close.
But no, a nice close up of the winning unit as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you decide to not overrun.
Not overrun. I know. Tell me about it. Yeah, I decided not to overrun.
Which I remember saying at the time, that threw me. I must admit, that's thrown me a little bit, somewhat.
Yeah, and even more so was the fact that I held the charge from the Dark Coach. That was for positional reasons, and I fully expected the Varkalak to come in afterwards as well. And you'll see probably from the next picture, I don't know, what I did in terms of the Varkalak coming in, which was run away.
Yes, so I know that's why we put the 1 and 2 on to say which order. And they run away, and they go right behind an impassable that you didn't see in the last picture. I don't think.
No, you didn't.
Back. No, you didn't quite see it. So they run away and get to there, lose 3 of their number, but...
Yeah, I mean, you lose half your unit if you go through impassable, if you figure impassable. So that is right. That was the risk I was taking. It wasn't really a risk, it was a fact. They were going to flee through the impassable. I was going to lose half of them. I wanted to do that so that you had failed charges on your Dark Coach and your Varkalak, so that then I could potentially countercharge. It does mean I'm risking losing one of my scoring units, the Dread Knights, and Dreadnoughts on the charge are pretty good, so I am sacrificing that to get that.
At the same time, you're also risking saving them for the whole battle.
Yes, exactly. Because once they're rallied behind there, hopefully they're a scoring unit that I don't lose. Is also the thinking behind that move.
Otherwise, these guys, you could get into my flank, I'd say, but I charged one of your Black Hawks in the forest, not really caring whether I lose any because of that. And you decide to flee.
Did I flee that one?
Yes,
I did.
With my Black Hawks, I can't do anything apart from run after.
I think that was it. I was just trying to waste your charges, really.
Yeah. So they continue on to see if I can get them. And with the failed charges, I'm unable to redirect with my Black Coach. Or Johnny Dark.
Oh yeah, you failed a discipline test, didn't you?
Yeah. And
you go aggressive.
And I go, you know what? We're here to partay, as I sometimes do, sometimes always. And redirect with my Varkalak into one of the Krakens and my big Killison into the other. Deciding to go that way round rather than all in on one, so that you couldn't because I thought if I went all in on one of them, you would flee, and I didn't want to give you the chance to double flee with either one of those Krakens.
No, so obviously the Varkalak charging the Dread Knights and everything, I knew he was going to redirect his charge.
Yeah.
Luckily, the black coach didn't get the chance to redirect, but if the Varkalak had charged into the same Kraken as the Killy Vamp, then one of my Krakens would have fled that charge, and then the Varkalak couldn't have done anything. So by choosing different Krakens with those two targets, it meant I had to hold both, really.
Yeah,
if I flee both, I'm losing the game for free.
No, that's it. And I was like, I did consider, because see, my Varkalak had to redirect, and I was like, all right, if he goes in there, you're not going to flee that one, but you'll flee another one, which means he'll just move forwards. So I did consider going into one, so you would flee one, and then I'd get not definitely get the points, but I'd he'd be out of the game
Take
for
one
a
of
bit.
out of the game,
but I was like, you know what, I need to not give you the chance to flee, which is riskier, but means they're there. So it was like, for both of us, I think
there was a lot of decisions.
It was like, I don't know what the best thing. So it's cool to do these battles and to have a see. And in other news, I went for a long. I think it was a 12. It might have been an 11.
Sure.
With
it was
the
pretty long.
ghouls into the middle temple militants. Not because they're the weakest or anything, but I thought that if I could get them and things go my way, because it's on my magic phase, so I might have a chance, that I could potentially, just by sheer amount of things, I'd take a bunch load. But
I don't think you would, because on the charge with the Court of the Damned minus agility, aren't you attacking first? Because ghouls are pretty good agility. So with your charging and Court of the Damned reducing my agility, with no buffs on my militants, I think that would have been a very good outcome.
Yeah, but it was like a massive pie in the sky sort of charge. Probably not going to happen. This is what happened. I did catch them. They haven't run away twice. They've catched them, and I've managed to get a really good position to see the cold ones, which are not called that. Raptor
Dread Knights.
Raptor Dread Knights. I
was gutted that you could still see the Dread Knights after that, really. I fled at just the right distance to allow you to do that.
Obviously passed the discipline test as well to reform, so that's part of it as well. And I lined it up with the wonders of Warhall so that I can just pass the impassable. So, and I actually lost...
I've got a rally test to do on those if I do, but...
but I did actually lose a couple of wounds on the in the forest.
The DTs you
as well, DTs. So which actually made it so that I could fit in weirdly behind the impassable if I was to go. So
a lot of things changed in that situation.
Yeah, it was very interesting. This is after charges and movement, which is very interesting. So. Varkalak didn't get in. Donnie Dark Coach obviously failed. So purely Killison against your healthiest Kraken. So it is very much on. I mean, anything could happen there. I've got 3 wounds. You've got multiple wounds. I've got a lot of attacks and wounds. Literally, all things that you can imagine are very, very doable. There with your high AP.
I'm kind of thinking if the Kraken can survive your attacks, which isn't guaranteed, then I've got a chance of killing him back.
Yeah, I think I've how many wounds you got? 5?
Yeah,
5. So I've got 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, re-rolling 1s, AP 2. So I think you might have been hitting. I
think you might have been hitting.
Might have been 3s because I hard target. Sure. But with all the re-rolls and stuff, and then you've got 6s. For armor save, so I'm like, 5 isn't out of the question. Then you've got hard to hit, but really easy to wound, and then multiple wounds, and so it's all down to Aegis and all that. Yeah, so really interesting, really swingy, and we're both quite eager to find out what's going to happen over there. Otherwise, I had to move my necromancer and zombies 2 inches to the right in order to allow the dogs to march, because that was another thing that I forgot. Excuse me. Earlier on, with I wasn't playing him very well in terms of ranges and things. I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking too elfy, where you could just play outside a bubble. But otherwise, yeah, just things will move up. Like so, all the fail charges. Obviously, I didn't get that long charge either.
Now the dogs just come and sit in the middle.
Yeah, so they finally do something. I'm happy.
Yeah.
They don't just die. So I heal back the Varkalak's wound with the hereditary, just to keep him on full wounds, especially now that things might happen with him. And I manage to do 3 wounds on.
Yes, I think I passed an armor save or 2.
Kraken. Yes. So with all the tests, I obviously I'm on 3 up rerollable, so I must have got a 2 in there somewhere as well. But yeah, it's I do 3 wounds to you, and we take a picture at this point, and we go, right, let's see what happens. And what happens on your combat phase? Or is this...
Yeah, my return attacks.
Yeah, your return attacks. That's what I mean. Well, it is your turn, I guess. But
yeah.
Completely mushes him. Oh my goodness!
Absolutely, man. Stompage.
Yeah.
Not actually stomp, but yeah.
I know that I didn't pass an Aegis, but I think you got. Did you get 1 through and then get the? Was it like that?
You definitely didn't pass.
I didn't pass the Aegis, but I don't know
how many.
Which was
why I did a multiple wounds.
Yeah.
I either did exactly 3 or I did like 7.
Yeah,
I can't remember which it was.
I've got a feeling that you got 1 through. I failed it on the Aegis because it like AP4, so I have like a 6 up or something save to it on the armor. Yeah. So I failed the Aegis, and then you get the. I think it was like, oh, you got it, or you got 2 and you got a 2 and a 3, or something. But something
Either
like
way,
that.
He did.
Doesn't matter. Killison is killed.
Yes, and the Kraken has 2 wounds left. More than happy with that outcome. Yeah,
there's some big points, and that is also why, folks, I don't have him as a general.
Yes, true. Yes,
something that I've changed recently. Another
this is a lovely Warhall feature, isn't it?
Yeah, excellent feature. I'm gonna move us slightly while we talk about this, so that we can actually see what it is. There's a feature on there where you obviously put the list in because through new recruit. But it also takes in a note of your things, and there is a counter.
It's like a cheat sheet.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
So you can work out how many points you've got mid-battle. At the moment, you can see that with the Lucky Six's vampire count, and having lost 1 unit of Great Bats, so I'm up by 830 points to 170 at this stage in the battle.
Which is very cool to see, and it's very useful to have as a thing while you're playing.
And you can look at that any time. Your opponent doesn't know when you're looking at it, so you can literally do the numbers, crunch the numbers, etc.
Yeah, although you can only change on your
own
side.
list.
So I couldn't change change the hearts to skulls and things like that. But there is options for half points as well. Just obviously at this point we haven't seen it.
Yeah. Exactly. Into my turn, I do the counter charges, and the Krakens are feeling pretty good about themselves. And the Dark Coach is off the charge, so I figure let's get my multiple wounds in action and start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going for the hurt, really.
I haven't got the impact hits, so why not?
Yeah, so I was going for it at this stage. Charge the big unit of Temple Militants into the dogs. I'm not really playing afraid of your ghouls as much as them charging me is not great for the agility side. I'm kind of thinking I've got the weapons, i.e. know thy enemy, to increase agility on my side anyway.
Absolutely.
So if I can get rid of the dogs, then that's them out of the way, and then I can properly go in for the kill with them, really. Because you weren't hiding the fact that you didn't like the idea of ghouls versus militants. It was just last turn you were going for a bit of a long
I think it's only in a very niche point do I ever favour that, really. But
yeah, and the black cloaks on the side, so the flank charge on the bats as well, just to get rid of a bit of chaff.
Yeah, why not?
Because they're actually decent fighters. They're elves after all. So
they both get in,
and
I believe.
You believe?
Yeah, I just believe. Yeah, it's nice to believe.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. fair enough.
But yeah, no, I was going to say because of the Dark Coach has 1 wound on him, but he already had that. So yeah, this is just showing them both getting in.
Yeah, yeah.
These guys take a test.
They do, and I think there you go. They run off into the pyramids.
Into the pyramids, and that's what I mean about the arty. So
yeah, very
nice.
beautiful, very beautiful.
But good, yeah, good spot. But and even nicer for me, this second picture.
Yeah, yeah.
With them
So
gone.
That's a scoring unit down for me.
Scoring unit and points, and it means that my Vampire Knights can get back in the action, really.
Yeah, as definitely. Well. Yeah. So it would have been nice to have forced your Vampire Knights to do that rather than just giving it to you, obviously. And I made the risk in fleeing them, but it didn't pay off.
Yeah, very much so.
Cool. The Black Cloaks make it into the flank of the bats, which is great. And I moved my Harpies up to chaff the ghouls. Yeah. So that's why I'm not worried about the wolves. I did think about the Harpies getting a long flank charge into your zombies unit and trying to assassinate your necromancer.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 9. I would have had Swift Stride. And I don't think I would have had the Aura of Fury, which is an extra advance on the charge if the unit you're charging has lost wounds. Because obviously you actually got more wounds in the zombie.
Sure, yeah.
So, but I don't think I needed it too high. It was an option, but in order to do that charge, I would have had to sacrifice not chaffing the ghouls. So,
and I think as well, you were talking about sniping the necromancer, but then realised that after going in, you would only actually have 2 attacks because of or a maximum 4, and just not because you'd have. It
wouldn't have served the purpose.
Yeah. So there was that initial thought of I can get like 18 or however many attacks they got, 10 attacks, or whatever.
Exactly.
But then because of maximising, it would be a lot less. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the discipline spell off on one of my Krakens as well, haven't you? I'm not sure when that.
I have, -1 res and discipline to the one that the Varkalak was going to go into.
Sure. Yes, true, and then it never happened. Yeah, that's right. Magic-wise, I got what's that? That's
Gloria Gold.
Gloria Gold on a Kraken. And I think you dispelled everything that I tried on my militants, because I think you were very keen on not letting me buff them up. Although probably wouldn't have mattered too much with the Ghoul's charge being chaffed. But you definitely stopped a few spells, and that meant all I had left was, what's it called? The number 2 spell, the one that helps you charge.
Truth of Time.
Truth of Time. I managed to get on the outside unit of militants, so they needed a longer distance to get into the ghouls on the turn after you would hopefully charge the ghouls into my harpies.
Yeah.
So I thought, give them an extra chance of helping out, really.
Absolutely. This is, quite frankly, after combat.
This is abysmal. I was riding high from killing Macilius. And this damp sponged.
Absolutely. So I think I went first with my character, or not my character, the vampire, Donnie, let's say. But and I was like, right, I've got a choice between the one that's buffed up that's going to hurt me loads, I thought, or the other one, and I thought I'll just go straight for the other one to try and actually do some wounds. And I only needed 2, and I had like 3 attacks or something. So thought I'd go for it, and didn't. And at that point, I was like, okay, right, well, Donnie's done. And he only takes 1 wound. Obviously,
you didn't. You didn't take any wounds. You'd already taken a wound.
Oh, is that another
doing your vampiric to get it back?
Okay, to get it back. So ages to the rescue, my friends.
Yeah. I didn't do anything, and you actually recovered wounds out of that combat.
Yeah, because I'd done a wound.
Exactly, yeah. So it was
mental,
nasty.
This is before combat. This is after.
Yeah, who says black cloaks are only good for shooting, eh?
Yeah, right.
No one really.
All
condensing into one picture, which is good.
Yeah, all condensing. And I think what this was showing as well was that actually after at the point I still had some great weapon attacks on my Donnie Coach. And
it got worse.
I managed to plink it. So,
yeah. I think the Krakens were just exhausted
They
after
were.
killing Achilles.
Yeah, they were.
What's the one that did the killing that died?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he'd run his day. He was exhausted,
he
bless him.
had. Which is obviously puts me in a decent spot. You did kill the dogs, but there's this over here. Um, so yeah, so on my turn, I charge with the Varkalak, not twice, just once, and I charge the Harpies to get rid of the chaff because I don't need them chaffing. Thinking
Yeah,
that I can probably chaff the big unit, and then just
yeah,
have to see what I can do with the other guys.
yeah,
So I don't want to go mano a mano with the bit. I'll say the big unit, but the one with the cauldron in,
Cauldron. Yeah,
because that scares me the most. But
Crucible
otherwise,
now. Yeah,
yeah. But otherwise, actually, I'm not in a terrible spot
no,
against the Krakens because I should, knowing that
yeah,
that's happened with 2 Krakens, I should with 1
yeah,
and some help from the Varkalak actually do all
yeah.
right.
Yeah, the only thing that I was hoping with the Kraken is that he does now have, because of Glory of Gold, I actually do have flaming attacks. So
Exactly.
it was actually easier to kill a Varkalak than it was to kill a Dark Coach.
Yeah,
But
very much
still,
so. So you just got to
obviously, if I
survive my
die
attacks, yeah.
beforehand, then it wouldn't get it. Yeah,
Yeah. So I do chaff. I get my Vampire Knights back in the fray as much as possible,
yeah,
without over committing them as well. But I think I had to swift reform and move up, so I don't think I could do much more. The zombies see your. I see your bloodcokes and march up towards them, basically
yes,
with a similar thinking is that if they come into us, they can't quite snipe the necromancer, or not efficiently anyway.
yeah,
They'd have to
yeah,
do well to do so. So I move up to actually do that, and because I've got nothing else really for the Evo that I'm going to be targeting, and if I can get rid of them, it's points. I try it, and you.
yeah. I think I make a mistake in letting off
The
Hasten the
D3 one,
Hour.
yeah.
What I should have done. I think I dispelled Touch the Reaper. I should have done it the other way around.
Yeah,
Because Hasten the Hour, actually, you boosted it and did 3 wounds with all 3.
I did, yeah.
Whereas Touch of the Reaper would have just killed 1. I do pass my break test, but it does mean, sniping that character is impossible now with
Yeah.
them.
So, and
So,
again, I'm happy. I'm thinking even if they run away, I might have a chance to get their points as well through shooting and magic,
Yeah.
or range, as I say.
Yeah.
This is before combat,
Mhm.
and apparently we move over. But yeah, so what? Oh no, this isn't actually. This is magic. I get minus
Yeah.
1 resilience and discipline.
Yeah. He's kind of used to that now.
He is, yeah.
He's had that the last 2
it's
turns.
fine. Don't worry about it. This is showing the before
Oh,
combat
the Warhall graphics were great in this because you had your
flying.
Fort of the Dam with flying bats all around it.
Yeah.
I had harpies who were flying. Then the cactus were running in there as well. There were bats in the background. It was a bit like, well, what unit is what?
Yeah, I have no idea. But you can see the chaff goes
Harpies are gone.
and
Okay.
it clears it up somewhat. This is a look arty picture of before and an overview of afterwards. I do take 1 wound, which actually in the grand scheme of things is quite unlucky from your part not to do more, because it goes straight through all my armor sort of stuff and special saves. But yeah, even with that, I get rid of it.
I think it must have been the great weapon guy who finished him off as well.
Yeah,
because obviously I'd have been
yeah.
attacking before that. So yeah.
So it's all me. I think I put you down to 1 wound with those attacks. You get a chance to kill my Varkalak and don't. And then I polish you off, and I'd reform to be this way to see what I could do. Yeah, and
It's funny how after killing McKillickson, I felt really good about pushing on in this battle with the 2 Krakens, and they've literally just bounced
absolutely
off both of those units.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think they should have done, but they did.
No, they bounced. I mean,
Aegis
it's the
saves
Dark
do,
Coach,
so-
isn't it? Both of them on the Dark Coach. You would bank on the Dark Coach not surviving that, but he managed to pop the Kraken and not even take a wound because of it. So yeah, poor rolling.
Yeah,
on
I was eyeing up
Krakens.
the overrun with the Krakens after killing the Dark Coach. I was literally on to the next overrun after that.
Yeah,
If I'd have killed the Dark Coach and overran, I would have been out of line of sight of the Dark Coach.
Yeah.
Then jobs are good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kraken goes into necromancer. Don't worry about it. You know,
That would
it's
be a
such a swingy little thing. So like, I don't think it's not average, but I didn't expect to die in one with my vampire, and then when I did, I didn't expect to survive in one with my coach. So it's one of those sort of games,
definitely.
really. At this point, this is end of, I want to say turn 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
you
think
can see how
what
much
it
the
is.
points have changed as a result of the Krakens going down as well, and the Dread Knights fleeing.
Sorry. Yeah, it is end of 4 because we did halfway was our first one of these. But yeah, and obviously, as you said, a big swing in the points in one turn. So
Yeah, I've got a couple of units of chaff, but you've got 3 big units.
yeah. So let's see.
Much chaff.
And I mean the ability to heal some of mine as well, which is mad. This is showing start of your turn. I think again we put this in
because was us talking about the
sniping.
unable to snipe character. Then yeah.
And again, it was that initial thought of if I get 4 attacks, I might be able to do it, and then going, no, I have to maximise. So and then at that point you're like, well, there's no point because that many zombies will eventually kill me.
You're like 3-0 up, or it's 4-0 up with the standard.
Yeah,
4-1 with a charge, even if I do 1 wound on your necro.
Yeah, it's
losing combat.
Not worth it. So this is just showing that we just discussed that. And over here, I did manage to chaff your big unit, who obviously go into it to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And you see,
I declare the charge for the other 2.
Yeah, see absolutely no reason why not to go in because again, I think not on the charge we go at the same time because of my crown court. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need much with the middle unit, and the BSB's unit, which is the one on the outside, have Truth of Time on them.
Yeah.
So I think I need a 5 with the middle unit and a 7 with the one on the outside, I think.
Possibly, yeah. It's around those numbers. And the 5 doesn't make it. They don't get in.
Good. Really gutted.
So just the Truth of Time in. I mean, even with that, it's I say it's one of those combats that would just gives me so much death. There's going to be so much death.
Oh, absolutely. I am attacking first with my unit, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
But in it was interesting because when I cast Truth of Time, I was a bit like, I need a 5 with that middle unit. Should I do that and make sure they get in? Because actually that middle unit is more killy. The Temple Exarch is better than the BSB Temple Exarch. So she is better at fighting than the one that gets in. But I thought, no, you don't need Truth of Time when you only need a 5. You need Truth of Time when you need a 7. And as it happened, if I hadn't have cast Truth of Time on the one on the outside, I actually rolled 1, 2, and then the numbers I needed on the 4 dice charge. So if I hadn't have got Truth of Time on them, they would have failed as well. So Truth of Time did actually make the charge succeed. But I was just gutted. I have a champion in that middle unit. I only needed a 5. 4 is an auto success.
That's killer.
So really gutted about that because that character has got special items that boost my units big time. So.
Sure. And to say 2-on-1 is more of a foregone conclusion. 1-on-1 literally could go any way. So I'm not optimistic, but I'm more optimistic now the one's failed.
Possibly.
Overview. Again, there's not a lot else going on, but your black cloaks come in to look at the coach and wish. A few spells.
Yeah, massively. I mean, this obviously tips it my way a lot because I get perception of strength. Actually, I reduce your strength on this one.
Yeah, and I allowed that because it wasn't on you.
It wasn't boosting my strength.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
I basically wanted to maximize the amount of time I could survive so that my second unit could get in after I died. Because there's so many ghouls.
It is.
But I do get I think I needed Know Thine Enemy in order to attack first still.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
because of the Court of the Damned.
Possibly we were at the same time because you charged.
Something like that.
But yeah, I think I tried to stop it, but I tried to stop all your spells. So that was one of them. This is the death.
Oh my lord!
I believe the ones behind my unit, so the 5, 10, 15, 20, nicely, is the death from the militants, and the ones on the right, to 11 is crumble. I do a decent amount. I think it was
Massively, yeah.
10, 5, 10, 12,
Yeah,
which I'm pretty proud of. I do have a bit of
yeah.
B on there, so to be fair, but
It's
yeah, but
the
just so
plus
much
the
death.
court is you've actually got the extra vampires on the court as well as the
Yeah,
character, which make a big difference as
yeah,
well.
yeah. It's a lot of attacks, and yeah, this is why we like the court. Very
Yes.
much so. But yeah, so I mean, I do stick around, which is obviously we weren't going to run, but just so much death all around. There's blood
Mm,
everywhere, folks.
very much so.
This is before combat. Any guesses? And you decide to reform like so, so they're all in the front.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. It's your turn next. If it was my turn next, then obviously it's a massively different decision.
Yep.
But yeah, just basically have to make it so that. Well,
The alternative was
I
to
don't know what you're going to
overrun.
do with that.
The alternative is to overrun into the dark coach and allow some flank charges with
Yes,
possibly
Vampire
my
Knights
best
and
units.
Varkalak.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is not great.
yeah. So it's swings and roundabouts with that. So you decided to allow, instead of get the drop on the dark coach, and you'd allow the impact itch, was against elves is amazing, but
Yeah,
it's so that I'm in the front with everything and you can do some
yeah.
damage
I've got
there.
the battlesmith in there as well, so
Yeah.
you're re-rolling your successful armor saves
So
on the knights, which is pretty
big.
scary for
Yeah.
knights.
Yeah, luckily there's not much else AP in there, so if I do go in, now's the time.
Yeah,
But still, as you say, it's I was going on all battle about this, not liking that unit.
yeah.
And this is after movement.
Mm.
I don't declare that charge because
Ooh.
I've been going on all battle about how I don't like the unit.
Yeah,
And
you went out, man.
I did, and we had a little talk at this point, and I said, actually, looking at the objective, I was 1-0
1-0
up,
up.
technically. I was hoping to be at least 2-1 up after the combat down south.
Yep.
And looking at it, I didn't think you could get my zombie unit.
Or your knights if you didn't charge them.
Or my knights if I didn't charge. So if I protected them, the absolute worst case scenario, as long as I got this unit down south, was that I'd be 2-1 and I'd win the objective. So that was my thought process. But I did want to have my Varkalak in coach nearby, just in case I could get extra points, or if I needed them after the ghouls died, just to mop up that one extra militant or something like that. So I just basically move back a few inches with the knights and move out of line of sight with the other two. Necromancer just turns round to do some evo at those blackcoats who have been targeted and are very unlucky. I get -1 resilience, which doesn't matter, but discipline, hoping that if it comes down to it, I can make them pop. And this is after combat.
This was so annoying.
Yeah.
So I think I had a choice about the -1 resilience and -1 discipline. I think I let that one through. Because at this stage, I wanted my unit to die so that I could then charge the second unit in, kill the ghouls, and just go on a tear with whatever turns I had left.
Absolutely, yeah. And you didn't want to allow my heals. You just stopped my heals, which is the right thing to do.
Yes.
Vampires.
Yeah. I stopped your ghouls getting any more numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because in combat.
Yeah. So because this happens, I mean, you do a wound to my court, but I get it back as that's one. Otherwise, because now I'm going first. I do loads of wounds and get rid of the unit, which is great for objective. That's what I'm happy about. But also it means you don't have many attacks and you only do one back. Fine.
Not bothered about that.
We're not bothered.
You take a discipline test.
You take a discipline and pass,
which is not what I want.
Not what you wanted.
I wanted to run there.
And we have a look and we move around, and we're both thinking, they're just going to go in. However, I managed to find a situation, we don't know how, but being a bit shinickety, where if we reform to go less wide, I don't know what, narrower. is the thing, and means that if you were to put your unit, which I think we got a picture of, this is just an overview of it. If you put your unit into this unit, which is what you want it to do, you would overlap onto your base.
And you haven't left any legal charge for my Crucible of Slaughter unit, so they can't even fail charge forward to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So I have no room in which to charge that big unit of militants because my BSB passed his break test.
Absolutely.
And I think I didn't even need the reroll BSB. I literally just passed the discipline test. I must have been down by a fair few. And it was just the best discipline test of our life to stay in that fight. And it was like, you've just screwed me over big time by staying in that combat.
Yeah, so
it was millimeters involved.
Yeah, and looking at the totals, I mean, it's fairly close still, but obviously I'm thinking
now 2-0 up with objective.
Yeah, the objective probably complete. So should be looking at a win, but anything can still happen. So
yeah, just keeping on that screen for a second. You see the Temple Exarch Battle Standard Bearer on my side. She has nowhere near the attacking power of the other two.
Yes, because she's just a BSB.
Yeah, just a BSB. So that's why I wanted the other unit in, really, just to demonstrate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And to demonstrate the half points currently on the ghouls.
Oh yes, of course. Yes. Good.
So and this is overview before we go in. As we said, we did put them in to show where you would end up, which means illegal. And
that was just showing that there was no legal charge with the Crucible unit.
Yeah, because it's over 15 inches away. So what ends up happening is your Killy Killison, mini Killy, is in. It charges to basically let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was nowhere near as good as I wanted it to be, but it was like just try and kill the ghouls now.
Absolutely. And again, along those sort of same lines, get the cloaks in, get to as many wounds to the ghouls as possible, see if they can survive and get some combat res, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It all happens.
Get them in, which is something.
Know thine enemy again, is it?
And this time I get the number 2 spell. No, that's your spell. Yeah, just know thine enemy.
And the attribute to make sure he stays this time.
Yeah, because now I want them to stay.
Yeah. Over to combat, and you do all the wounds to the ghouls. I think
I killed the ghouls off. Yeah.
Yeah. So job done on that. I do kill the black coats back, so let's put those points. And
I did 3 wounds to the court as well.
So you do 3 wounds to the court.
Killy Exarch coming.
Because we challenged or whatnot. I think I do 1 wound back to you, and 2 wounds to the BSB just on the bottom.
Yeah, I think the other one, the one that is showing us 1 wound, actually already took a wound from a miscast earlier on. But yeah. And this is after crumble and stuff as well. So it's my BSB versus your 2 characters. So character hammer. Yeah, they call that. And they're in the challenge. So enjoy.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's onto my turn, and I just move my big monsters, big gribblies away, just so that nothing silly can happen. I
think, is this into your turn 6? I can't remember.
This is my turn 6, last turn, because that's why I
can't charge my Crucible into your zombies.
No, last turn, because it's my turn, and that's why the zombies come up, so that I can be in range of stuff.
Yeah, now I'm just sitting there with that unit behind.
Yeah, the Necromancer gets Hereditary off on the BSB to get 2 because of Gates in the Netherworld. I believe you dispelled
the Reaper.
The Reaper, which is the D3 wounds. And it looks like I get -1 res and discipline off on your mini Killy.
Yes, I believe so.
There as well.
She's the one that doesn't have the divination.
Yeah.
tribute.
So my BSB is looking a bit better after that magic phase, and see what we can do there. And I do manage to kill Mini Killy, and Vampiric.
Maybe we weren't in a duel because it looks like you've switched your targets, so maybe we weren't in a duel. I don't know, or maybe I was in a duel with your champion.
Yeah, no, I think we were in a duel because you did 3 wounds to me, then nothing else would have done 3 wounds, and my ghouls went before crumbling. Did 2 wounds to your BSB, I think, last turn.
Something like that.
But your guy sticks around the BSB. I killed.
She just won't run.
Yeah, she's just up for the battle. Yeah. And that is the last picture, my friends, of a Warhall battle.
I don't remember what the result ended up. It ended up being quite heavy to you.
The result was, any guesses?
Oh,
because I didn't
17-3.
Yeah, I didn't do the
16-4
summary that Warhall provide. It was a 15-5 in the end.
I'll take that.
Not too bad. I do win the objective.
I got my Crucible unit up front, so.
Yeah. So I end up winning 12-8 on points, and then the objective as well. So, decent win. Comes down to a few things. Obviously, the multi-charge is probably the biggest one.
I think so. I think if I get both units and in, the ghouls are just shredded.
Yeah, arguably the stuff that happens with the Krakens, and I'll say that because there's multiple things that happen with them. Yeah. And the multi-charge, I think, is the 2 moments, really.
Yeah, and I think as well, with hindsight, which is obviously very subjective, I should have overrun with the Dreadnoughts into the Varkalak rather than fleeing them. But obviously, I only know that for a fact because the Dreadnoughts didn't rally. If they rally, then I keep their points and their scoring.
Absolutely.
So,
and we draw the objective, I think. So.
Yeah, so there's that.
But nice to play on Warhall. Again, as we've always said, it's really easy. Gives all the tools that you have on it are really, really nice, and it does speed up some of the play as well. Nice to play these lists as well. Tweaked list from where once we came.
It's funny because you played against the Dread Elves very well because you saw how every time I played Dread Elves, I'd be like, "They're awesome! I'm killing everything." And you were already scared of them, even though you'd never played me against. We'd never fought my Dread Elves.
No,
because I'd raved about them for the last 6 months. You were scared of them before they even started. Just hilarious. It's not a situation I'm used to going against you, where you didn't want to fight me. Yeah. It's usually being all defensive. But,
Dread Elves do combat well, and I think they need to be respected. But I mean, let's say they're quite nice to have these things because essentially I am combat as well, so it's just it's nice to have those 2 armies up that just both want to fight, and whoever wins the fights wins really. A few decent tactical bits as well. But you guys, thank you very much for watching. Leave us comments because I think these are probably quite close to our lists in these armies as well. So if you give us some comments on how we play them, any list building ideas around these sorts of concepts, very, very possible that I could take vampires to TEC. It's probably a toss-up between vampires and warriors. So let us know what sorts of things we need to think about, or if we're doing anything wrong.
I personally would love to know. I will only take Temple Militants as my DE core. That is a fact. I would love to know what people's opinions are on whether taking the 3 small units or 2 slightly bigger units would be better. I'd love to know people's opinions on that particularly. I'd like 3 small units, but they're squishy. So if they don't get into combat and attack, love to hear thoughts on that.
But then if you go 2, then you lose a scoring unit.
You do. The only thing with that is I've got the Dread Knights in now to be my 3rd scoring unit. So I'm okay with 3 scoring units. But I'd love to know opinions on 3 scoring in core or 2 scoring with a Dread Knight. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so there we have it. Thank you, Warhall, as well, we should say.
Very much.
But it should be back open to, if you haven't already done the Patreon or Kickstarter. And all that jazz, then very, very soon you should be able to crack on with this, and I'm sure we'll be having some more release videos and stuff like that as well, so stay tuned for that if that's the kind of thing you like. But if you just like the real life battles, don't worry, we've got more of them coming as well.
Certainly do.
It's all go, folks, all go.
Way we like it. Cool. We'll see you for the next one.
See you later.